Yeah, that's right. I even got his. I got his chair here though, in case he wants to.
In case he wants to join in.
Mm-hmm.
And what did he have on his shirt? He had pumpkins.
Yes, he has Halloween. He's in his Halloween PJs, his Jack
Okay.
PJs out there. So
Halloween PJs.
Mm-hmm. So welcome everyone to Monday. This is September 26th. Thank y'all all for stopping in today. We have another guest, Mr. Gene O'Neill. We sent him an invite. We talked this weekend about him joining us. I don't know if something's going on or what's happening there, but he may join us. And if he does, we're going to bring him on in because Gene's another Floridian like me. And he's been through quite a few of these storms as well.
Been through so many, it's not even funny.
Yep, and Doug, for those of you who don't know, Doug is Cajun soft wash and the good old fashioned Louisiana world. And Doug, y'all seem y'all are sometimes the more of a
plenty of big hurricanes and plenty of floods and all that kind of fun stuff. So
boo
boo.
So tell me, and I know you've lost between the floods and hurricanes, natural disasters, what, twice, 3 times?
Well, yeah, lost everything with the flood. We lost our trucks, our everything with the flood. Our house, our clothes, our shoes, our toothbrushes, our everything with the flood. But the hurricanes that we get come through. Matter of fact, the last one that came through was Ida. And Ida, it left us without power here for, I want to say about 2 weeks or so.
Yep.
And created some, great troubles and problems and that kind of thing. But I think my biggest hurricane, my first hurricane that I chased was actually Andrew. And I don't even remember when.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
1980 something.
Andrew was in the 80s at some point.
Yeah.
That was the Miami wrecker that, cut through the Everglades.
Right.
And Andrew changed everything for a lot of people. My first real big one was Kate. And we had just moved to Tallahassee. Kate came ashore in, I think, 85 as a Category 3. And, hey, Finn, would you go close that screen? Kate came on as a Category 3, and that was one where we were, we had actually just moved from Crystal River, Florida to Tallahassee, and I was crazy. I lived in Crystal River for 7 or 8 years. Never had a hurricane really, blow wind even close to us. Had a couple of high tides here and there, but moved to Tallahassee, and then within 2 months, we were, sitting there for 10, 14 days without power because of a Category 3 that came in. So lived right on the water in Crystal River. It was great.
And that's one of the things to think about too. If you guys are in the path or anywhere near the hurricane zone, generators are a big thing. Get it now while you still can. And inverters are another good thing to get. They're a lot quieter. They don't unless you get a big one, they don't run as much. But I'd be stocking up, getting ready for them.
Absolutely.
Even if not for you, for your employees.
That was one of the things. Yeah, and we'll talk about that in just a second. One of the things. Oh, and then in recent. So back in the 90s, we had a beach house. Well, from the 90s and 2000s, and then in the teens we had a beach house and had several. In fact, one of the reasons we sold the family beach house is we were in a time there in, it seemed like around 1995ish or so. Every tropical storm in the world came up here and hit in this Appalachian Bay area.
Mm-hmm.
Never anything overly destructive, but enough to cause $4,000 or $5,000 worth of non-covered, and sometimes it was multiple times, a year out there. We were always replacing a riprap seawall or backfilling and stuff like that. So one of the reasons that, we sold the family beach house because we got tired of dumping money into it.
Yeah. You get to a certain point where they just don't want to insure anymore,
Yeah.
or the cost to insure is so high that it's just it almost makes it, well, do I gamble? Do I not gamble?
Right. And Dustin, Tanya's the same way. She's going to, oh shoot, got my phone. She's going to New York on Thursday morning, flying out of Tallahassee for her birthday week, and who knows? Maybe not.
Probably get canceled. You never know.
Yeah, Dunellen isn't looking all that awesome tonight. So, and just talking about the storms, it's real interesting because you've got basically the U.S. models and the European models, and the U.S. models and the European models basically keep swapping back and forth with their consensus. And it's like at one run, it'll have those models coming in, Tarpon Springs to Cedar Key, which is going to be awful for that area in Tarpon Bay, and then at Tampa Bay. And then you have the other thing saying it's going to come up here to Tallahassee. The good news is if it comes up to Tallahassee, it's going to get into some shear, and it's only going to come in as like a 1, maybe a low 2. But these models are kind of saying the exact same thing as each other. They just keep flip-flopping positions. So tomorrow is going to be real telling of what actually happens with the storm. They should be able to drill down on it a little bit more once it gets past Cuba. But and it's crazy what 5, 20, 50 miles can make on a storm and its path of where it comes into.
Well, especially with the waters in the Gulf being so warm right now, they're a lot warmer than normal, I think, and so that being the case, that'll help strengthen it. But then the wind shear that you're talking about is going to help kill it off, kind of thing. So that's what you got to hope for.
And one of the things people think hurricanes are so powerful, and they really are, but hurricanes are actually fairly low. So one of the major drivers of this is the jet stream, and what happens with the jet stream, whenever it comes down. Yes, sir. Whenever it comes down, it's gonna, it could actually help to steer it because hurricanes are actually fairly, considerably speaking, lower in the atmosphere than a lot of the steering currents up top. But it's interesting, and for anybody that cares about it, Spaghetti Models is amazing. That goes into Mike's weather page. Also, Tropical Tidbits, that's an incredible place. You see a lot of the actual models where if you're just going to National Hurricane Center, you don't get to see all that background. So Mike's saying that right now about Mike's weather page on Facebook and YouTube. Yeah, he does twice daily updates on there. Really, really a smart guy.
Yeah, we used to have a guy here, Bob Brett was his name. He did all of them. I think he's the one that he liked to do it all manually, and he was a lot better than some of the charts and all that they would have out there.
I'm gonna Doug talk for a second. I'm gonna get Gene a link here. I think he's
Gotcha. So I'm gonna go a different direction then. So while we're waiting on Gene, let's think about a few things that if you are in the eye or not the eye, if you are looking towards, you're in that Florida area, and really I think it's going to be the entire Florida, depending on how it comes up, how it sweeps around. But Florida down near the bottom is only that big, right? So as it comes up, so think about some of the things that you need to get ready for. And one of the things Ray and I were talking about prior to the start of the show was just one of the things that a lot of people do in all of the storms that I've ever seen is that they jump ship of their own company. And what I mean by that really is that they see all the quick money that they can go out and just grab here and grab there. Hey, let me go out and start tarping roofs. Hey, let me go out and start picking up debris and, all these kinds of things. But what they don't get, he's there. Can you add him?
He is added.
What's up, gentlemen?
Is that you can't just abandon your clients because they're so hard to get back. You might make that quick money, but then after that, man, the money's not. You got to keep making money after the storm. So.
Right? Yeah. It just because you get these opportunities, and you want to become an insurance adjuster or something like that, doesn't mean you can ignore your thing. So Gene, and everybody, welcome Gene O'Neill. Gene's another Florida boy. Gene, how many of these have you been through?
A lot.
Made it count.
Yeah.
A lot. Started like in South Carolina as a kid. So I don't know. I think the first hurricane I went through was Harvey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've gotten where we don't even really get excited for anything like more than it's got to be bigger than a category 2 to really give a rip about it.
The thing
it's got to be bigger than a 3 to even care.
Yeah. Well, the thing with Florida is like, we're definitely in the hurricane zone, but like South Florida, especially North Florida's actually been hit by more hurricanes than South Florida has forever. South Florida really hasn't had that many major hurricanes. It really hasn't. I think since like Andrew, we're talking way back.
Well, I mean, and it depends on whenever you call it major hurricane, which Andrew was like a nuclear bomb going on. And then you had stuff like Charlie. Charlie was a great one. Which what a freak!
Again, Charlie was like one of the biggest hurricanes that ever hit the coast of Florida.
Right,
like a Cat 4. Right, I wasn't South Florida.
Right, and then
it didn't affect us at all.
And it went straight up to the state because when we were rehabbing houses and doing flips in Orlando at that point, messed up several of the houses that we owned. Going through Orlando because it maintained its pressure and then it popped out on the East Coast over there. So
that was like the biggest streams of Florida storms that come through Florida. Because you had like Gene and Francis and Charlie,
all in like a 2-3 year period in there.
They were all like right there.
Yeah. But and this is one of those. I think we're going to have. I think we're going to get lucky on this one with that jet stream dipping down and kind of chilling out on our. It's going to shear it off if it comes up here to the North Gulf. If it goes in there at Tampa, if it hangs around and does that European model right now of right outside the edge of Tampa, it's going to be bad. They're going to get not even necessarily wind, but they're flooding up in Tampa Bay and Homosassa and Crystal River and Cedar Key. It's going to cause them some problems.
Yeah, they're not worried about it here anymore. That's like the schools are open tomorrow.
Well, I mean,
Martin County's like, we're going to school.
Yeah, I mean, and initially y'all were talking to, they were literally talking about it coming in at Naples, Fort Myers, going literally right across the street, state to you and picking up speed and having a hurricane event on both coasts. But these things change. The forecast changes amazingly with a hurricane. And it is what it is. But Doug was alluding to this right as you were getting on about, don't lose your own business, Doug, and don't go off chasing other stuff and forgetting about your customers and running around chasing a quick buck instead of a long-term buck.
Well, the thing is, you can build relationships during these storms. And I think that's the biggest thing that people.
And you can solidify relationships.
We don't gouge people on storm shutters. We really don't. We literally do it for almost breaking even price. We really do. We do it more for a community service, and it's a very powerful thing, It really is. And people you'll build a presence and a branding and a reputation. It's like it's a service that's needed because face it, we're in Florida. There's a lot of people here, old like me, that can't put their damn hurricane shelter.
Well, and also there's a lot. And Todd was saying Opal back in '95 was pretty tough on Georgia. Heck, Todd, if you remember, Michael was pretty tough on y'all. Just 4 years ago or so, 5 years ago. I mean, that thing went up there. Michael. I mean, a couple hundred miles inland. I mean, it was up there at Spring Creek where mom and dad lived. The dad had just passed away, and it wrecked South Georgia up there. But,
on the storm shutter thing, I had a thought too, and would be why not, especially even running an ad about the removal of the storm shutters. Okay, so because you could do it now where you're putting the storm shutters on, but the removal of the storm shutters, and you do it for a flat fee of, the $99 guy, go in there at $25 for, any 1-story house, and do it as a give back to the community, right? That's the whole point of you're not making any money off of it. You're just covering your overhead. That's it.
Yeah. And keeping the guys working because the guys aren't going to be working to start with.
Right.
It's like right now. I mean, I've got, a weight of work to do. We can't do any work.
Well, and nobody wants to.
Nobody wants
right now. I had multiple people call me today going, and they're newer guys in the industry, and they're like, "Hey, Ray, what's going on? I mean, my phones are dead. I mean, I don't." And I was like, "Have you watched the news? There's something proceeded. It's supposed to be a Cat 4 coming up in the Gulf. Your phone isn't going to ring this week for somebody going, hey,
it's going to ring, but it's going to ring saying, hey, I need to cancel
my job, But this is where anybody that's washing right now, what you literally need to be doing is having, in your Facebook, in your community groups, in your
Absolutely.
What's the one, the Nextdoor app, in any social media post, you need to be out there going, hey, spray wash exterior cleaning is here for you during these times. We can put up your storm shutters, take down storm shutters. We'll be happy to, and if you're slow and you want to do this, if you need help, securing your property on this, if you need help plywooding, boarding up, we can do things like this. And then, and we're here for you after the storm, during the cleanup phase on here. And so you've got that, and then we'll get back into the cleanup phase in just a minute. The other thing is reach out to your property managers right now. You need to be doing either a bulk email or individual phone calls and just saying, hey, it's Ray with Spray Wash. I know we got this coming on. Is there any help that you need at your facility? Do you need me to drag trash cans inside? Do you need me to just go around and marshal the area? Do you need me to be your eyes and ears? Do you need me to do damage assessments afterwards? What do you need from me?
I'm sorry. We both caught it at the same time.
You're welcome. Yes, you've got your course material right here. Oh my God.
Man, you wrong.
I would say, and I want to go back to this question in just a minute. I don't want to forget this, but but this is where we can, and even if you don't, let's say none of your property managers, and don't even discuss a fee. I'll come out for $150 an hour. We're here for you. We're here for you, Mr. Johnson. We appreciate you. You are solidifying that relationship, like you just said.
You can even say it. Look, I mean, if price comes up, you can even say, look, we're doing this more because you're a great, client of ours. I mean, the only thing I'm going to do is I'm going to ask that you cover our costs, and that's it, right?
That's hilarious. I love that. That's hilarious.
It would also be a good time to consider doing a newsletter. And what I mean by that is that a newsletter that you send out tomorrow morning that tells that has a story to it along the lines of, have you picked up your chairs? Have you picked up your trash cans? Have you picked up your doormats? Things that people may not necessarily think about, the potted plants sitting on the front porch, those kinds of things. Giving them ideas.
It depends where you are in your business, Doug. So if you're out there and you're able to freaking just go out and do it, that's what you should be quoting. You should be telling people like, hey, if there's any little things that need to be done around your house that you didn't think about, or picking up stuff or whatever else, give us a call.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, I can't handle all of that, right?
Right.
So mine is a little different. It's like we're doing storm shutter services. So if you need shutters put up and taken down, we are the people to do that. We have also working with some other contractors, general contractors, handyman, so forth. We have the workforce to take care of whatever it is you need on a first come, first served basis. And please don't wait till the last minute. And that's the hardest thing about storms is people don't want to spend money, right? You don't want to give me your money, right? You want to wait till the last minute to give me your money. And that's a very hard thing in storms, because once it gets to the point where it's like, oh shit, we got to put up the storms. Well, now everything off the shelves anywhere in Florida, if you needed to buy plywood or you needed to buy whatever, screws or whatever, they're gone.
It's already gone, yeah.
Absolutely.
And it's already blowing 30 miles an hour and it's raining its ass off.
They're trying to hold up a sheet of plywood. Oh, God.
It's like, so the price, when we get to that point, it's like we double the price of what we charge for that. It's like, I gave you the warning. Like, if you wanted to do it, this is what it is. And it's very, very affordable. It's like just covering our costs to keep our guys going. But you wait to that last minute.
Right.
That's like,
now the guys are in harm's way.
I can't even guarantee you that we can get to you, but it's going to be like
a lot more.
Yeah, a lot more than what it was originally.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Yesterday you were a prospect. Today you're a client, right?
Exactly. That's like it's like it's almost like an auction,
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
Highest bidder. I can't be at so many places at one time. We can't do it. We can't. There's so much demand that you can only be at so many places at one time. So don't be afraid to charge, because
here's a good question right here. What if you don't have those clients? What if you're on the outside of it trying to get in after the after effect of storm cleaning? I would literally stay up the rest of the night tonight. I would be going to where, and I don't know who this is because it just says Facebook user, but I would be going, let's say if you're in Tampa, what hospital is in Tampa? I would be going in there and going through their website and finding out their facilities manager. I would be going to whatever, USF. I would be talking to their facilities department. I would go to any commercial real estate brokerages and put out to things to all of their commercial real estate or commercial property managers out there, introducing yourself. Hi, my name is Facebook user and I own Facebook Pressure Washing, and just wanted to introduce myself. I know things might get a little bit hectic right now, but here's what we can offer before the storm. Here's what we can offer you after the storm. Mm-hmm. If I can help you, here is my personal cell phone number. Feel free to call me at any time, day or night.
Right. So this guy that's commenting, I don't know who it is, but he sounded like he's out of state. So basically, you need to figure out what your time of travel is and what your hourly wage is going to be.
Yep.
You need to say, hey, we're available at X amount of dollars per hour, and we're willing to travel wherever the hell you want us to go. If that's what you want to do, if you're a storm chaser and that's what you want to do, you've got to have an hourly rate.
Right,
otherwise,
absolutely.
You're not gonna find it.
And your hourly rate needs to be pretty high, because whenever you come down here and start realizing you're paying 4 times the average rate for a hotel room. Yeah.
Not only that, but you also have to consider that, you look at a map and you say, okay, I'm going to go from this house to this house, and it's going to, according to this GPS, it's going to take me 5 minutes to get there. It isn't going to take you 5 minutes to get there because of all the debris on the roads and all the, construction trucks and that kind of stuff on the road. So it may take you an hour to get to that next house. So you have to charge accordingly for it.
This is the most ignorant comment I've ever seen in my life. Duh. Double turbo tip, not SH.
No, whatever. It's 50-50. It's 50-50. Everything's 50-50. 50-50 to get rid of that shit.
50-50 and then rents with the turbo tip. And yeah, Michael's right. Shutters absolutely can be exhausting. There are some annoying bastards out there. Is that my neighbor Gene that broke my arms? So
what's the deal with that? We got to know that story, right?
I have no idea. I don't remember breaking anybody's arm.
No, but also now going back to what we were talking about though. So we can get out here and help them get ready for storms. We can put away trash cans. We can put away, floor mats. We can police areas for them. Even if you don't do that, just by reaching out to them, you're helping to say it. Holy crap. I love that. Oh my God, my pressure washer is amazing. I mean, I see Henry's on here right now. Henry, you've gotten a few commercial accounts, recently. I would so be writing that letter tonight to your property managers, even though they're probably not going to call you and say that. But again, it just solidifies that relationship. Oh, there you go. He said, Jonathan said, if you come into Palm City, he's going to break your arms. So.
So he went in Palm City.
On Facebook.
That's funny.
Find
your ass.
Run him out. Oh, Lord.
Get out of my hood.
And think about the equipment that you do have and that you don't have, and that you should either make sure it's working.
Let's go into like worst case scenario. All right. So hurricane, this could be possibly a major hurricane. It really is.
Yeah, no, it could be.
Right. So
it could hit as a 4 and not calm down.
Yeah. Right. And where it's hitting is going to be like, unfortunately, where it's directed now, it's going to be like a high flood.
Yeah.
It's
the worst possible really scenario, honestly.
So your Sudsucker on your pressure washer is water removal, and you may not think of it as that way. You may think of it as like, some major company that does like, these types of things. But during a time of a panic like this, getting water out of a place is like top priority. It's
absolutely, yeah.
Oh yeah, you got to get it out of here.
And what Gene's talking about, the sludge sucker, the sludge.
We were talking about that pre-show, yeah.
A sludge sucker attachment that fits on the end of your pressure washing wand. One of the most versatile tools that you can ever use, and this is so. Now we're transitioning to. So we've done, after the storm. Let's talk about pre-storm, or I'm sorry, we've done pre-storm. Let's talk about after the storm. So after the storm. Now we've got to sit here and say, okay, what services can we do? Well, we can do debris pickup. We can do storm assessment. We can, we can help get the sand and the crap out of places. I mean, you realize that whenever whenever you get a 5-6 foot storm surge, it's not just the houses on the beach. It's houses across the street from the beach. It's houses 4 feet down from the beach. You can get into
number one problem when we have hurricanes is what?
Flooding
and distribution of supplies.
Yeah, true. Yep.
Distribution of supplies usually back down into a area that's going to get flooded.
Yeah.
If you don't drain that shit out of there, they can't back down.
Yeah.
I'm talking every distribution center there is. I don't know whether it's Walmart, Amazon, whatever.
Amazon, anything.
Every single one of them. Yeah. They're going to need water pumped out of those areas.
And with a sludge sucker, if you're not a Sutton or sludge sucker, if you're not familiar with it, look it up. You can move anywhere from 40 to 60 gallons a minute of water on these things. We've got them at Power Wash Store Tallahassee. I mean, any decent pressure washing store has it. My gosh, it's one of the most hell. If you buy one and you can use it for getting rid of puddles at the end of a driveway that you clean. But these things are so important to have. Also, sand. So you're removing standing water. Get standing water out of there. A great service you can do. And that's another email that you're sending out there to these facility managers. And you're thinking, do I want to send another? Yes, you want to send another. The day the storm hits.
Keep up to date on what you have.
Hey, Mr. Facilities Manager, this is Facebook Pressure Washer here. Just wanted to let you know we're still here through the storm. I hope everything, you survived it okay. However, if you need debris removal, if you need water removal, if you need muck and sludge removal, we are here for you. And a pressure washer, if there's not even standing water, though, but sand and mud and crap everywhere, a pressure washer is a wonderful tool for getting rid of that.
And you also need to be educating them a little bit too, because it's not just about removing the water, right? If you remove all the water without removing some of the mud and all that that's there, what you end up with is this caked mess that as it dries can be a lot harder to get rid of than when it was actually
as quick
wet.
as you can.
This is where the pressure washer, where you can still stir it up, and the sludge sucker to suck it out, educate them on that process to let them know that will help you get some of that mud out of there, which will help the cleanup efforts as it moves on, kind of a thing.
Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah. Anybody in Florida right now, they really need to be, instead of the aftermath. I mean, that's a big thing, and you can target all your property managers and commercial type for the aftermath type of thing. Your biggest thing is for preparation of the storm. And if you're going to go out there and put up storm shutters, or you're going to move stuff away from people's place. I mean, Florida is a retirement community. I mean, with the whole damn state is what it is. People come here to retire.
Yeah.
You're going to get them prepared for the storm.
People, they can't take their furniture and put it in their garage. They can't do all this stuff. They need someone to do that. If you're in a damn service industry, there's a service. Just go do it. The people are willing to pay, to do it.
Yep.
And you're taking care of your community at the same time.
Everyone. Exactly. We can put your pool furniture up. We can put your patio furniture up.
And you can go to any local Facebook group, mom, pops, whatever thing, and they are going to allow you to post that.
We can take down your awnings.
Yeah. Yeah. They would normally not allow you to post some things, and now they would. It's like a time of emergency. It's a community service. People need your service.
Think about anything that can move in the wind, and that there's so much that people don't think about that can just absolutely go flying. I mean, from everything, their bicycles that they got hanging up in their racks. And
I spent this afternoon after I got done. I came here and Finn and I jumped in the pool for a couple hours. I went and did a burn pile out front because it's a burn pile. I've been stacking crap on here all summer as I've been cutting back. It needs to get burnt down, and I started putting away stuff in the garage as well. The bikes, the little things like that, just in case.
Yep.
I've said this I've said this before, just without hurricanes. If you offer a service and you did not provide that quote to your customer, you did not give your customer full service. You devalued your customer. You didn't give what the hell you were supposed to give. It's like if you were able to seal their pavers, then give them a damn quote to seal their pavers. If you were able to clean their pool deck, then give them a quote to clean their pool deck. If you're able to clean their roof, then give them a quote to clean their roof. If you didn't offer the services that you are capable of doing, you did a disjustice to your service.
Absolutely. If you believe in yourself and you think you're the best guy out there for the thing, why not offer to do all the services and tell them about everything?
Right. So like right now you're in a hurricane. You're not going to be working. We're not working.
Right.
It kind of sucks. The hurricane isn't coming here. Right. I mean, it really does. It kind of sucks because we had like 25 jobs lined up for shutters. And then the shit shifted, and what happened? They're like, "Oh no, we're not doing that anymore."
And also, if you have, so first off, your residential is going to be slow right now.
Right.
It's going to be.
Second off, though, your commercial, if you have big commercial jobs scheduled, I would not give them the opportunity to go and unschedule those. I would literally assume that everything is on normal. I have literally been out on the days after hurricanes where we've had to pull trees and use chainsaws to access properties, let the property manager know, well, this is scheduled and we're continuing on with this. And they're like, okay, fantastic. One of them was the hospital project. He's like, well, good. Appreciate you moving the trees for us so we can get in there. The campus is closed today, so it'll be easy to wash it out there.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Don't stop just because.
Mm-hmm.
So this one here is David Rivas.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, we clicked on the same
Sorry,
one.
go ahead, Doug.
Up now, I don't know where it's at. It moved on me. Oh, there you go. There's no hope for you, Dave. That's all I'm just saying. There's no way for you to become a true pro.
When you figure it out, let us know.
Yeah.
So Punks was drove equipment from here to NOLA after here, and he's in a secret bat cave somewhere in the I'm going to say Midwest region of the United States.
But we know.
That was the only aftermath that ever turned trucks around and had a contract. Places the death smelling war zone. Yeah. I could
After Katrina, it was pretty bad. Let me tell you.
You know, Dustin was on here, and we went over and we delivered water to Mercy Chefs in 2-3 days after Michael hit over in Panama City, and I had some totes over there. So we got a firsthand, real close up view of water or of Panama City right after Michael hit. And it was ugly over there. We had the chainsaws in the truck. Tanya went over with me, and it was really cool because Joyce Meyer Ministries was at the church that we went to. Tanya loves Joyce Meyer and got to actually help Joyce Meyer Ministries as well. So she was really psyched about that.
So let's I want to make a comment on the Hurricane Punks there, but like Katrina, I've got some friends that own a crane service here in Florida, and when Katrina hit there, there's cranes. They drove 2 cranes there to help out. FEMA was out there writing checks right there on the spot in the street for their crane services. They made $675,000.
Wow.
Helping out, just driving their cranes over there. So there's some, when you get into the disaster, it's like things need to be done and they need to be done now.
Yeah.
So whatever it is, if you want to take a chainsaw over there and cut a damn tree down,
Grab a chainsaw.
they're not playing around. They want the shit done and they want it done now.
Now,
I paid $2,800 to have 2 trees removed from my yard. I mean, I had to, right?
But let me give the caveat to that too, though. If you want to be the average shitheel that comes to Florida and says, I'm going to be a roofer after the hurricane,
Oh, yeah.
Florida will stick it in you and break it off on you. If you want to be a price gouger or an unlicensed contractor in Florida, we don't cotton to that crap very well at all in Florida because of that.
Mm-hmm.
And Wallace just said something very, very important. People got dollars to provide excellent service and get future contact for marketing. And part of that's what we're talking about, of this building relationships on here. You might be offering this to your property managers. They might not care whatsoever. They've got a team in place, but this is building the relationship, and this is letting them know that you're a quality person that's willing to go the extra mile to help them. Mm-hmm. It's huge, guys. I mean, this is absolutely huge.
Yeah, community service. It's a community service.
It really
is providing a community service.
And there's something else. You know, we were talking about, you know, beforehand. You know, whenever you have employees, and understand, I mean, and maybe not so much nowadays because our average, you know, cost of employee has gone up. But back whenever we were at $12, $13 for our techs, and you know, we might have techs, you know, and our lead techs are doing really well and making $50,000, $60,000 a year. But you know, we may have helpers. These guys are the ones that really get rocked by, you know, they're living in an apartment somewhere and the whole apartment goes out and they don't necessarily have a big fiduciary duty to get crap done. I mean, I've had guys in storms that have been out for 2 weeks, you know. Well, what do? We want to keep them working. You don't want, you know, your fledgling company to go, well, we don't have any work, guys. That's how you wind up losing your employees right there. You've got a guy that's on the hook. It feels like he's going to be something special, but now all of a sudden you're going to sit around and wait for the phone to ring or wait for residential to start scheduling again. You're going to lose your employees while you're waiting for that.
You're going to lose your company.
Yeah, you're going to lose your company, but they can't necessarily afford for you to sit around and wait for business. This is where you have to be proactive and make stuff happen for your company.
You have a duty to not only your customers but also to your employees and to your family, right? I mean, Gene, you've got to provide, right? And you've got employees, you got to provide, you got to, all these different things where there's so much that you have to provide for. Don't just curl up or don't. I guess the biggest thing for me is I see a lot of guys when these things happen that they take their company that's just starting to fly. It's got wings and it's taken off and it's got a jetpack and it's rumbling, it's going, and then a storm hits and they're like, oh, squirrel, let me go over here and let me take care of this. And then the next thing you know, they're not taking care of their customers, and now they got to start back at the bottom again. And now their customers don't trust them anymore either.
Right. That's kind of where we are right now, Doug. It's like I said, it kind of sucks that the storm's not coming here.
Yeah,
it really does, because it's going to rain its ass off. I can't tomorrow. I don't have anything scheduled.
Well, you ain't got to rinse those roofs at least,
I'm not cleaning any roofs, and I've got like 25 of them to do. So, I don't know if they're in there. Nobody wants to get anything done, even if I can try to work them in a schedule, because they're like, they want to wait till after the storm. I don't blame them. I wouldn't want to wait till after the storm.
So, what about offering to rinse the salt off of the houses and the windows and the chimneys and the garage doors?
That's all after. That's all after.
That's what I'm saying, though.
That's all after. After I'm freaking busy as shit. I ain't got time to do that.
Yeah.
I got so much on the schedule right now that I can't do that after. Mm-hmm. I can't do that after. Right now, my schedule is screwed. So if the hurricane,
there are things you could do, but you're not wanting to do those particular things too, though.
Like the problem is, Gene's on the east coast of Florida, so I mean, he's not going to get any of it. He's just going to get rain. They don't need storm shutters.
So originally, when it was coming, I had like 25 people scheduled to get their shutters done.
Right,
and then it shifted, and every single one of them. I've got one customer that I got to go remove a shutter that they didn't have removed because the HOA doesn't want the shutters up. I got one customer to remove it.
It was going to go cut across the skinny part of Florida and bump out there and still be hurricane a category 2 out there whenever it hit your coast out
there. So my normal attack would be take everybody's on the schedule, reschedule them, take care of the hurricane, and that's where we are, right? So the hurricane's not hitting, right?
Yeah, you've got 3 rainy days. Is what
right, and I've got the rest of this week. We're not working. I mean, we might work Friday.
3 rain days is what.
Yeah, we'll probably go back to work Friday, but
you ain't got no equipment maintenance or nothing like that.
Well, the guys, that's what I'm going to do is like whatever the hell
marketing
has something to do, But I'm losing money. Otherwise, I would much rather be providing a community service and breaking even.
Yep. But
you already know you're going to be losing money. So, I mean, take that time and that money loss. And I'm assuming because you talking about with employees?
Oh, yeah. I got to keep my staff.
So why not do something fun with the employees for the day?
What are we going to do in the rain?
Top golf.
There's got to be
something. You want to go out on the boat in the rain? Put your rain gear
somewhere. There's something to do.
Whether it's around, do something like that,
or whatever. I don't care. Go take your boat out into the eye of the hurricane and see what it's
like. I like it.
And also let me add this in too, though. This is where, and we're sitting here talking about these things, and well, if I'm a big company, I don't have employees, and then I couldn't handle this. This is where, I mean, you get on Spray Wash Academy channel. You become a Spray Wash Pro. You're on obviously other Facebook forums. Go and meet. This is why you go to events. This is why you're not a douchebag online. You get out here and you meet people and you talk to people and you find somebody that you can partner with. I mean, guarantee you, David has somebody, he can call up, tomorrow, hell, tonight, and say, dude, meet me, at such and such a place. We need to do this.
Right.
And this is why we need to do stuff like this, and why it's so important to have, because what if somebody calls you on Thursday after the storm, they're like, oh my God, we've got a massive water, and you're like, okay, that's too big for me. Wouldn't you want to actually have somebody you could call on and say, hey,
Absolutely.
let's go knock this out. Let's go knock this $10,000 job.
That's
Also,
where-
well, hold on, Doug. After the storm, every storm that's come up here since I've been washing, it has been an absolute huge blessing from us for working with builders, knocking salt water off houses, going in there, doing the salt neutralization from the real bad stuff like Michael, where we were sucking mud out of pools and carports and moving it back out to the. I mean, there was houses where we were going there and doing 18 inches of sand removal, from people's carports out there. And it sucked, but you know what? It was business and it was good. And there hasn't been, I know the two active hurricanes that in 5 and 6 years ago, those were from my personal truck because I kept my crews busy, but my truck was $10,000 for those weeks, each week afterwards for just me out there going down to the island and working because it was amazing work out there. And I had guys just getting insulation and salt water knocked off the side of houses.
Yeah, that's where here in Louisiana, especially some of the guys here, and I got to throw hats off to them. Like David is one of them, where like he's saying, ain't sitting nowhere.
Yeah.
These guys here in Louisiana, they are seeing the pattern of, hey, us working together is just smart business.
Yeah.
So they can call on each other and they can do things together.
David's got Steven. Steven's got David. It's a beautiful kind of.
Even today, Derek Mooney, who's out of New Orleans, I think, made a comment about Steven. Met with Steven and picked up a couple guns because they're selling them now.
Yep.
So bringing that all together, Florida always seems to complain about not wanting to help each other. I don't want to help the competitors and that kind of thing. If they could only see that actually working together is better than not.
Oh, guys, there was somebody on here earlier that told me, after I sold my company, and he literally, sat there and said to me, he's like, yeah, you selling your company sucked because you were the number one source. Spray Wash was my number one business source. Spray Wash was my number one business source. I mean, think about that. And there was 3 or 4 companies in town that I sent business out to. So my cast-offs that I couldn't get to in time or didn't want to deal with or just, we were too busy. They needed their stuff done. We fed, 3 or 4 companies in Tallahassee. Get out and be friends with other people.
Yeah, same here. I sent a lot of business out myself.
Golly.
Yeah, same here. I sent a lot out. And even like if somebody really needed work, like if this thing went through Orlando, which is 2 hours away from us, and it just plastered it and you guys needed help, my guys would love to just jump in the truck and go to Orlando.
You want to stay? Let's do it. Yeah.
They would. And I'd have no problem with that. I'm just not, I'm freaking old. I don't care. I'd rather just pay the damn guys. Take the day off with pay.
Bingo.
Think about too the inspections that you can do to help them get somebody in to do claims. So, they're not going to want to get up on the roof and see if there was any damage, and they may not be able to get a roofer out there to look at it. Where you can at least go and identify if there are problems. One of the things that we had here with one of the storms was the sand that blew off of Lake Pontchartrain. So it picked up a bunch of sand and it just, destroyed the fronts of properties and stuff. So same thing on the beaches there where the sand is going up and damaging stuff. People need to know and want to know. So not just the rinsing off phase. Maybe you're not ready for that. Maybe it's just not the time because there's too much debris or whatever, but helping them identify the problems. That could be just a source for them to be able to turn into their insurance company. So you take pictures for them or whatever. All kinds of services you can offer.
roof tarping is another one, Doug. I mean, now in Florida, if Florida's weird. I mean, Florida's one of those things like where a general contractor can't even put their own roof up in Florida. You have to have a roofer's license. We're real funky about roofing, making any kind of assessment or adjustment on there. But you can go in and tarp roofs off as an emergency flood, preventative after damage has occurred. And I have always done $4,000 and $5,000 a year after storms by offering emergency roof tarping services. Whenever a tree comes down, take the chainsaw, cut a tree off. Now, I mean, if it's a freaking century oak that's down in there, I'm not going to work that hard for it, or I'll throw the tarp over the tree, that kind of thing. I mean, this is not like the blue tarp, semi-permanent type tarp. This is literally just until your insurance company can get out there and look at it.
And put generally real tarp on.
We're going to charge cash for it. They have to pay us a minimum of $350, $500. Usually it winds up being about $600-$700 for us to put a tarp up there over the crushed area. And then, they can typically get reimbursed from their insurance company for that expense that they've paid out there. But another service that you can do, emergency roof tarping for this. I have a very good friend that whenever a hurricane went up to New Jersey, which was that bizarre freaking hurricane thing, he went out there and spent about $10,000 in tarps he cleaned out Home Depots and Lowe's in his area. And the ones that he didn't use, he returned. He didn't open them, but he offered that emergency roof tarping service whenever people along the New Jersey shore had that hurricane come in there about 6 years ago.
I want to address these two comments, and I'm gonna assume these are from the same person because it just says Facebook user. So I'm gonna assume that these two are from the same person. It says, I don't know if it's just me, but I get nervous talking to other companies here. A lot of them try to do the old, what size is your pressure washer? Like they're the big dicks on campus, especially here on the coast. So first of all, that's actually a legitimate question. Okay. So if they're asking, well, what size is your pressure washer? This is a pressure washing, soft washing business. That's a legitimate question. And I'm going to bring in your other question here because I think the two of them tie together, especially. So it says, so I've tackled jobs that were really too big for me, but basically because asking for help, a lot of them would laugh or basically try to dog me for trying to do what I do so early. Look, if they're dogging you or whatever, they're the wrong people to be hanging with to begin with.
They're not helping you.
It's the people that you're trying to get you to get helping you doing something. They're the wrong people to do that, right? Don't worry about them. Go find the people that are good in the business, who are secure in the business and know exactly what it is that they're doing and where they want to go. Or even if they don't know, but they're willing to help so that you both can learn. Don't worry about them, and don't worry about the guys that want to measure their penis sizes. Forget about that.
Wrong questions. The question should be, what can I do that can help you, and what can you help me with, so we can both prosper?
But if they're the type of person that is going to, I completely agree with that. But if they're going to say, well, there's nothing you can do to help me, okay, great. Then let's move on and don't worry about it. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, wrong guy.
you called them up and they blew you off. Don't worry about them. Yeah.
Hey, you pick the wrong guy to befriend. I mean, it's yeah. So
that's kind of thing. I just wanted to make sure you because I don't know who that is, being Facebook user. But man, don't worry about all that. And if they're asking about your equipment, those are legitimate questions.
Yeah, absolutely. And remember, everybody started somewhere, and
that's right.
Everybody started somewhere.
Yeah.
100%.
At the same time, you gotta ask questions too, because we don't know who this guy is talking. He's like, "Oh, I'm doing such and such." You don't know. You gotta ask the right questions.
Whenever if you're somebody showing up with a direct drive and you don't,
right.
So you can't get your direct drive plumbed
up. There's nothing wrong with saying I don't have a damn clue.
Right. Yeah. I mean, exactly.
And time
there's
doesn't matter.
nothing wrong with saying that, you're going to have some guy dog on you about, the oh, you don't have a 8 gallon a minute, blah, blah, blah. Well, which one of us started here with an 8 gallon a minute machine, and very few of us ever started out with an 8 gallon a minute, yeah.
It's one of those things where if you like there are guys that have been out there and they'll tell you, oh, I've been doing this for 25 years. Okay, great. But they've also been doing it part-time on the weekends, and they haven't been doing it correctly for 25 years. So you can't let that kind of stuff
you've sucked for multiple years. I mean, a lot of the gurus that are out there right now that are teaching, they'll tell you how long they've been in business, but they've not actually exceeded more than $150,000 a year, which, I mean, if I'd been in business for 10, 15, 20 years and not doing that, well, I'm not exactly sure why I'm buying courses from you. Mm-hmm. And David, at the same point, I'm going to go on the other side here. And I don't mean any insult by this to the new guy, but there are a few people that I wouldn't bat an eye at. Like, and if I'm going if I'm going to pressure washing friends and I have a guy who's literally asking idiotic questions, or the guy who does, goes into 8 different groups and keeps saying, hey, how do I clean this? And he keeps asking the same question until he gets the answer that he wants. I'm probably not going to hire. I'm not going to want to partner with that guy, And
I'm not going to want to help him.
If it's the guy who goes, hey, what is SH? Or the guy who brags about spraying everything in a 50-50 mix.
Here's a prime example from a job that we did today. All right. So you got to look in the future of your business, right?
Right.
Today we clean a customer's house. It's a big ass freaking house. We're freaking a big ass detached garage with another house. But they had like tongue and groove wood all the way around the porch, around porch. It was a pain in the ass. The job really was a pain in the ass. It really was. And when I quoted a job, I'm like, she's like, people have cleaned it before. And the thing is, I know the people that cleaned it before. 3 companies that I've known that went on to do other things. 3.
Yeah.
3 companies that I know personally that went on to do other things this was her client, or that was her client, and it's like you can't not offer your services. I don't know how to explain that. It's like that customer that you thought that somebody screwed you out of, in 3 years from now could be your customer. This is now my customer. These are really good friends of mine. All 3 of these companies are really good friends of mine. And this is now my customer.
Yeah.
So
and they didn't charge enough to,
you gotta look at tomorrow. You don't.
So, Gene, let me ask you a question. Do you feel like you stole their customer?
No, not at all.
Not at all.
Not at all.
They lost their customer. You didn't.
I feel blessed. I feel blessed that this lady called me because of these people that knew me. I feel blessed because of that. Just relationships that I made with people.
Absolutely.
My point is exactly that, though. I mean, if you build your relationships with your customers, they're your customers to lose. Nobody's going to steal them.
But also, if you build relationships with other pressure washers, you'll get business.
This is how these jobs come in. It didn't come in because the lady just freaking went on Google and said, hey, somebody posted I posted some shit the other day. We were in a community and the guys, it was actually my girlfriend's place. My girlfriend lives there. And it's like the guys were freaking called out for today. And like I said, sent a crew over there with 2 guys. Said, go over there and clean her driveway. I said, knock on some damn doors. And I said, I know they got a letter that they're going to be inspecting.
It was recent. Yeah.
Right. I know it because this is my girlfriend. So go knock on some doors. And
hey, Gene. So are you saying that if you're in with an HOA, that maybe you might actually get some pre-advanced notice whenever warning notices are going out?
For sure, but this was like just girl shit. But all I'm saying is the guy commented on the post that I put on there because they sold like 6 jobs. They had a blast because they don't get the opportunity to really go out there and sell. It's like they throw out, to do the 3 or 4 rounds in the neighborhood and they're gone because they're working their ass off. So it was a joke. It was like the people that were knocking on the doors, it's not like a high income. Most of them are rentals. So the people that answer the doors like, we rent, we don't give a shit. We're not paying for that,
Mm-hmm.
But they ended up selling 6 jobs. And a lot of people weren't home. And I was like joking, like, okay, well, I know they got some Ring cameras. I said the first one that sells a job over the Ring gets $50, And they had a blast. They had a blast trying to do this shit. And the guy,
what? That's a very valid thing too. Where the Ring cameras nowadays, I mean, why not try to sell a job over the Ring camera if you're doing? Yeah, why not?
But the guy commented is like, well, this is 2022, and we don't your customer finds you. You don't find your customer, and that's the biggest BS I ever heard in my life. If you don't know who the hell your customer is, the avatar, and you ain't out there knocking on doors and shaking hands and kissing damn babies, you're a dumbass. I'm sorry. You're a dumbass.
Absolutely.
Go get it.
And ironically, you say that, but I just had one of my customers in the office and a friend of mine in Tallahassee, and he was very very upset because he went from extremely high Google ranking to not being listed at all. And we sat here and we were trying to figure out what the hell happened. But during that changeover from Google My Business to Google Maps, now if you don't have your address listed on there, Google will delist your ass and you won't show up at all on there. And he learned that the hard way. The good news is the minute that we went and changed it, and we literally changed it from the Power Wash Store sales counter on there, he wound up getting relisted within like 12 hours on there, and he was back to good with his same original listing on there. But the now with the Google Maps, they want to see your butt with an actual, and he wanted his privacy. I don't blame him, but no, they want an address on you.
Oh, absolutely.
Even if you're going to do one of those postal box addresses, I mean, even that is going to help you.
Actually, I had that discussion with somebody that lives in an outlying county. And I said, well, what if you just went across the street to the UPS store over there and listed your address as that? Because he was in Jefferson County and he mainly works in Tallahassee. Yeah. And it's hard. It is hardcore impacted him. Not if you're Joe Biden.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. No, I mean, I'm going to tell you what. It's important to know, like in our area, they're parishes, but counties, boroughs, whatever. The area where you're going to do the most work at. It's important to have an address that is for that county, because sometimes you can't get. Like there are certain companies or certain I'll say businesses, but more like the county jobs themselves, the government type jobs or the school type jobs, or there are certain jobs that you're just not gonna get unless you live in that particular county. They don't want somebody from another county, even though it's literally right across the street.
Do you know how much my old company has literally been raped by Tallahassee guys? And I mean, good for them. I appreciate the fortitude and the adventuresome, the inventiveness of it. But how many times since we got purchased by a national entity, how many of our old customers, I just realized I could turn the light brightness down, so it's probably a little easier on your eyes, but they've gone to our customers going, do you realize it's not even a local company anymore? That company's owned by a company in New Jersey.
Yeah.
And it's, they have run roughshod over some of our old customers that were very loyal to us, but they're like, well, wait a minute, we're a county entity, we're a government.
I'm gonna try to redirect this because we're just a bunch of old grumpy asses talking shit. But this was about hurricanes.
Yeah, sorry,
hurricane. What hurricane? What are you talking about?
Yeah.
But yeah, it's asking the size of the valid questions.
Yeah, and some of the comments are completely off too. They're political now.
Yeah,
which is the political
asking
stuff.
The size is a very valid question. But it was how they scoff the 4 gallon a minute people, and you're completely right. I shouldn't work with those. I haven't, so that's why I tackled them. Yeah, it took me 5 days to do 4,000 square foot, but I did it. And all people who scoffed are watching me get jobs. I don't get every job, but I've gotten a lot of B2B. Awesome. Yeah, you know what? And again, not everybody.
And that's where you got to focus your energy.
Hey, and find somebody just like you.
Mm-hmm.
Find somebody just like you that you can reach out to that has the same work ethic to you, and then in 5 days you can partner up and you can do 100,000 square foot in 5 days. I mean, I'll never sit there and scoff at somebody because of their equipment and stuff. But again, none of us started it. Somebody over here said earlier.
I still use the 12-volt pump. If I were to go back in business today, I would still use a 12-volt pump for roof cleaning.
Yeah, I've got a guy that I send shitloads of work to. He cleans an HOA like it takes him forever to clean it, ever.
Mm-hmm.
And he's got the contract. He's been doing it for a while, and he's happy. He's content with what he does.
Yeah.
And I send him work. It's like I can't do that job for this. But this guy can. Give him a damn call.
You understand?
There are no problem with that.
I mean, all three of us had similar, levels of you and you. We all had similar levels of company. And you understand there are people that are watching this broadcast that will watch the rebroadcast of it that have no care whatsoever to ever be as stressed out as we were doing that'd be really happy with the holy crap, you talk about $400,000 a year to them. They're like, oh shit, sign me up. That sounds amazing. They don't think they're going to do that. We're all, we're much higher than that on there. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's one of the things, Doug and I and Gene, I know you're the same way. You'll never sit there and go, oh, you're not $1 million a year company. Don't talk to me. No, it's what are you comfortable with? What are you comfortable with? Size of the machines. Doug remembers this several years ago. Yep. I took a bunch of 8-gallon machines off of my skids because it just didn't work for me. It didn't matter the size, but I had literally two service trucks and we were sucking through water too much. We went back to 5.5-gallon machines because we were sitting there waiting on water all the time.
Owner-operator can make 70% profit.
Bingo.
All day long, day in, day out.
Now that I own a pressure cooker, I'm sitting here. I am literally going, okay, what service business could I get into again? Because the money's a lot better there,
Yeah.
Yep.
Whatever. Everybody.
I actually have to find something for my daughter. She's 24 years old and she's a go-getter. She's got some degrees and all that, but I think she's wanting to find something else for herself. So I got to try to figure something out for her.
Yeah. And AC Locker, that's one that always stuck with me. That he said that he's a smart guy. He does things different or whatever, but it's one that always stuck with me. It's like he was talking about sales guys or whatever. Everybody, employees, sales guys, everybody has a price number in their head. They think I need to make 30 grand a year. I need to make 40 grand a year. I need to make 50 grand a year. Everybody has this number in their freaking head. And is that true? I mean, think about that. even us, even you, it's like, what do we need to survive? How much do we need to make? We all have this mathematical freaking number in our damn head. And it's so wild to me to really look at it at that perspective, because it's nuts. It really is. It's just nuts.
What's funny for me on that side of it is sometimes, I'll still sit back and I'll think, somebody says, yeah, I hope to make $40,000 or $50,000, this year. And my brain still automatically goes to, wow, that's a lot of money. And then all of a sudden I'm like, that's nothing, realistically, but from way back when I was younger, when you looked at a job, like, man, if I could just make 50 grand a year, but now you go out and you look and you see, milk and bread and look right now, the hurricane, everything's going to be flying off the shelves. Right. So, but you've got to be able to afford to buy all of those things, and 50 grand a year just isn't enough nowadays to be able to do that.
Well, but your numbers are your numbers. Your numbers should be your numbers. You shouldn't want to make $1 million a year, gross $1 million, gross $1 million a year because you hear some goofball on Facebook who's probably never done that telling you that's what you should do. It always impressed me, Jason Guyman. We love us some Jason. And Jason said, he shared with me once. He said, Ray, I did a survey with my customers out there, and his customers being the people who listen to him. And it was like, how much do you want to make from pressure washing next year? It was a really respectable number, like $30,000 or $40,000. Was what the survey answer was on there. And I always remember going, damn, that's nice because you have all these people with unrealistic expectations on there. Mm-hmm. And guys, seriously, would you? And I know we've all been blessed with large companies and high incomes and stuff, but let's face it, the average guy could not do what we've done with our companies. You would literally implode. I've always said, you would agree with this. I have a feeling you would. But if I was to give somebody spray wash, a new guy starting out, if I was to say, here's spray wash, exterior cleaning, they would fail within a year.
All right. Here's an example right here. All right. The guy posting here, I don't know who this is, Facebook user. My game is to try to make 1,000 a week. If I make a Wednesday, then I make the goal of 2,000 for that week. Next week, back to 1,000, and it works. Okay. Ray. 2 guys, 1 truck. What are you trying to make a day?
Dollars.
I'm trying to make $2,000 a day. With 2 guys, 1 truck. I'm trying to do $2,000 in 1 day. This guy's trying to do 1,000 a week. That just tells you the perspective of how we look at things differently.
And we're really more than, if we could do $1,200 a day per truck at spray wash, and my expenses are less than yours down there, all that good stuff. This is one of the reasons that pressure washing, like, it's so similar wherever you are. You have dirt, you have to clean it. Very simple. My expenses are different and all that. And regionally, it's very, very different. We're both in Florida, but you're in a much different market than that. Yeah. What we tried to do, $1,200 to $1,500 a day was per truck was our goal. Right. Now we're running 3 trucks trying to do that. Do the math.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It just tells you.
You be realistic on there. But guess what? Not everybody's going to do that. And you also, guys, all of us have run crews and have run multiple crews and have done big, massive jobs. You may not want that stress. You do what you're happy with, not what some guru tells you you're happy with.
Exactly. But but at the same time, look at what your man hour rate is compared to somebody else's man hour rate versus the same amount of work. So make sure that you're giving, no matter if you're my opinion is, if you're out there doing the jam job and doing it yourself and you got a helper, you should be charging a hell of a lot more than Ray was sending a crew out.
Yeah.
I like Michael J saying here,
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Gene.
No, I'm cutting off. I'm trying to read it.
500,000 making same amount as a 150 owner operator. 2K, 50K per 2-man truck is formulaic. How stressful? Did 1.206. Never drank so much in my life. 100%. Yeah.
That's it.
Do you know what it's like going? Do you know how stressful it is going around and checking on F-ups from 4 different trucks? I do.
Yeah, when you got to run around fixing stuff and taking care of stuff and all that, it can be stressful, definitely. But then there's also that point where you hire people to take care of those things for you.
At some point, but I tell you what, at $1 million a year, you're not hiring that. At $1 million a year, you are that guy. At $1 million a year, you're going broke if you're hiring that guy. Yeah. I've seen it happen with too many people in this.
Absolutely. Game. Absolutely.
You hit $1 million is a vanity number in this business. I'm doing it is literally nothing more than a mental masturbation right there going, I get $1 million a year. Because I'll tell you what what $1 million a year is? It's the death zone. It is literally like that is the area where you are struggling and dying for oxygen.
Yeah.
And you're working yourself to death as an owner. Guys, this has been amazing. And again, we've so gotten off the topic of hurricanes.
Yeah, we did.
I want to go back here. Right now is the time to tell your property managers, because when we're still consistent on either people are just oh God. So now I've got Stephen and Henry are pissing and moaning at each other back and forth. So y'all realize the best thing that ever happened to Tallahassee Pressure Washing was me selling my company. It finally freed up the market for those dodos to get some business out there. And they're both amazing. Stephen and Henry are they're both very good friends of mine. I love them both, and I have watched them literally since they have started, and I love watching people succeed in this business. I absolutely love.
Well, let's talk about this before we get off of here. Tallahassee right now. How is the people freaking out?
Oh God, yes. The gas pumps are out of gas. People that are doing residential, like I said, they came into me all day going, my phone's not ringing. I'm like, well, no shit, because there's possibly a Category 4 hurricane coming here. So right now, if you're a pressure washing and you're in a Florida hurricane zone, don't expect for your phone to ring. Don't expect for it to ring for the next week and a half or so.
I would say right now, from where the projected of the storm is, if you're Orlando north in Florida, into Georgia, into freaking Louisiana, even Alabama, you should probably be targeting your customers about, are you thinking about the storm? Are you getting ready? Do you need my help?
Think about this too. I went yesterday and I spent $250 in spare gas that I put in various, 5-gallon to 15-gallon containers around, and diesel fuel to do that. I'm blessed. Again, I sold my company. It wasn't even a thought for me to do that. There are people that they're on their monthly budget, that $300-400 that I would have spent on hurricane supplies hurt their monthly budget. That was 100%. A house wash. That was what they were going to spend on getting their house cleaned sometime in September, October. That might have been a maybe not a Christmas present, but it might have been some Halloween decorations out there. You're not everybody is sitting here just rolling in cash. I mean, these storms affect people. These storms affect our residential markets out there. And even if it's not even a money thing, the people, dear God, they have other shit on their mind. This is where you can actually, like Gene was saying, where you're down in God's, anything south of Orlando is God's waiting room in Florida, right? So I'm in North Florida. We're happy, healthy, vibrant. Gene is in God's waiting room. Like, God, take me now. We're here just waiting to die. But they really do need the help for putting the pool furniture inside.
And you have those in every area.
Exactly. Sarasota, Clearwater. Oh my God, this is where if you're in that area, you should be running those ads. We can help you. What, are you too proud to like go and move furniture? You do it every freaking day in your company. Right. You can now get paid the same amount for just moving furniture.
This is what I'll say to end this before we go. If you give this service away or you charge for it, your choice, you are going to make a shitload of money from it.
Either way.
Simple.
Bingo.
Plain and simple.
I agree. That is a mic drop right there.
Yeah.
That is a mic drop. 100%. Gene, thank you so much, buddy.
Good to talk to you guys.
I appreciate you coming in here. And guys, thank y'all all for your time. And I hope we've helped some people out there thinking about it. I've now got, hold on. Oh, crap. Joe Chapman said something. 30. Oh, that was like 30. I didn't realize it was Joe. 5.5 12-volt and a garden hose rents $1,300 in 6 hours. Yeah, absolutely.
Awesome.
Nothing wrong with that.
Good karma created good things.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Hurricane preparedness punks. Love it.
Yeah, that was awesome. You got us on that one. That was awesome.
Oh God, yes. So, guys, again,
appreciate y'all very much.
And ride the storm out again. If you need me and Doug, and I don't mean to volunteer, Gene.
Absolutely, Gene. You can call me anytime you want to.
Holler at me if I can help y'all with anything. If Doug or Gene can help y'all with anything, reach out to us on Facebook, on Messenger. We'll get back as quick as we can. Okay.
Peace, y'all.
On shine, guys. Gene, hang out for a minute. Oh God.